This is one of the Dyatlov group's final photographs. Members cut deep snow into a platform for their tent on the Ural slope. They appear organized. Nothing suggests danger. Within hours, all 9 abandoned it in darkness. Most boots and winter clothing remained inside. Important cuts had been made from within. Their tracks led downhill. None returned. A modern avalanche model shows how a delayed slab could have forced them out, but it cannot prove that one occurred or reconstruct what happened in the forest. The expedition in this photograph had begun with 10 people 9 days earlier. On January 23rd, the party left Sverdlovsk for a winter ski route. Led by Igor Dyatlov, they qualified for the highest category then used. On January 28th, illness and pain forced Yuri Yudin to turn back. The remaining 9 continued toward Mount Otorten, recording the journey in diaries and photographs. On February 1st, they cached supplies in the forest and moved on to Kholat Syakhl. Poor visibility pushed them off course. Instead of descending to the trees, they pitched the tent on the exposed slope and cut a level platform. The last images show that work. Then the record stops. 25 days later, searchers reached the tent. The camp did not look looted. Food, money, cameras, diaries, and most winter gear remained. A fabric examination concluded that important cuts had been made from inside, although not every tear had the same origin. Investigators recorded no convincing evidence of outsiders or a foreign track line. The prints came from roughly 8 or 9 people. Some wore socks or soft footwear. At least one resembled a felt boot. The tracks appeared grouped rather than scattered, although they cannot reveal the hiker's state of mind. Searchers followed them for about 500 meters before drifting snow erased the trail. The path led away from the only shelter on the mountain and into the forest below. One and a half kilometers downhill stood a cedar. Beside a fire, searchers found Yuri Doroshenko and Georgy Krivonishenko, both underdressed for the cold. Broken branches suggested that someone had climbed the tree, possibly for fuel or a view of the slope. 3 more bodies lay between the cedar and the tent. Their positions suggest that Dyatlov, Zinaida Kolmogorova, and Rustem Slobodin may have tried to return, but their intentions cannot be proved. The final 4 were found in May in a stream ravine 50 to 75 meters from the cedar. Nearby, cut branches had been arranged into an apparent shelter floor. Some garments had been cut or transferred between people. Along with the fire and shelter floor, that reuse records organized attempts to survive. Then came the medical divide. 6 deaths, primarily from hypothermia, and 3 involving fatal chest or skull trauma. Rational actions had led to findings that appeared far harder to explain. Later accounts focused on missing eyes and Dubinina's absent tongue. But the May bodies had spent months beneath snow and water. The autopsies described post-mortem tissue loss, not deliberate removal. Tests found elevated beta contamination on parts of some clothing. It was localized, reduced by washing, and never identified as a cause of death. Its source remains unknown. Nothing in the record proves aliens, a secret weapon, or an outside attack. Those details deserve precision. But missing tissue and radiation did not force them from the tent. Whatever did had to make the forest seem safer than their shelter. The explanation must begin on the slope. For decades, a conventional avalanche seemed inconsistent with the scene. The slope appeared shallow, the tent had not been swept away, and searchers found no large debris field. In 2021, snow scientists Johann Gaum and Alexander Puzrin proposed something smaller, a delayed slab. Cutting the tent platform could have disturbed a weak layer beneath denser snow. Wind may then have deposited more snow above them. Hours later, that added load could release a compact slab. Instead of a wall of snow, a dense block could deform the shelter and possibly cause serious injuries. Its size, combined with 25 days of wind before discovery, could explain the limited debris. Under the model's assumptions, delays of roughly 7.5 to 13.5 hours were physically possible. One reconstruction fits the evidence without pretending certainty. A snow-related threat made the tent unsafe. The hikers descended together, built a fire, and climbed the cedar. Some may have tried to return while others constructed shelter near the ravine. After the first deaths, clothing was redistributed. The ravine group suffered severe trauma, but whether it came from the slab, a fall, snow pressure, or a shelter collapse remains uncertain. A delayed slab remains the strongest tested trigger because it explains an urgent exit without requiring an attacker. It cannot prove why each person made each choice or when every injury occurred. Dyatlov Pass is more explainable than the legends suggest, but not completely solved. Science can describe what may have forced 9 people into the cold. The footprints, the fire, and the places where they were found mark the boundary beyond which the record cannot speak.